Congressman, what do you believe is most important for Congress to prioritize before the August recess, knowing that, what do you have, about 8 legislative days left in the House and 20 legislative days left in the Senate?
You're right. We have so much to do and so little time, both in July during the August work period and then in September before the fiscal year end. For the Congress at large, I think it's very important that we complete spending in the House. Tom Cole's done a great job on our appropriations bills. We have 2 across the floor, all through the House committee. We need to try to get those advanced before August. We need the National Defense Authorization Bill completed before August. And then I certainly hope, in working with my good friend Tim Scott, the chairman of the Senate Banking Committee, that the Senate can find a pathway to complete the Clarity Act before the August recess as well.
Yeah, it's all great points, underlining the importance of President Trump's handling the relationship with China. I know he's walking this balance of, on the one hand, saying, look, we want China to do well, he's my friend, and all of that. But on the other hand, knowing that China is behind massive cyber attacks in this country and massive surveillance of America. Is there anything you want to see different when it comes to the China-U.S. relationship?
Look, I think we have to have a relationship. Americans have to recognize that. And President Trump's taken the right steps by, first of all, demanding their markets be open to American goods, taking the steps to defend against their cyber attacks and other infiltrations of American homeland technology and our interests around the world. We face this in a realistic way. I think that's what you've seen from President Trump, is a realistic assessment that we have to have a relationship with China. It's a big economy. It's an integrated economy in the world, in world trade. But we also have to reshore our important strategic minerals, our important medical supply chain, and not be dependent on China. That's the key difference.
Now, you said the Clarity Act will end years of regulatory uncertainty, but we're not certain that this is going to get across the finish line yet because it's stuck in the Senate. What's going on?
Well, that's a problem. I want to thank Gillibrand and Lummis and Bozeman and Scott and many others on both sides of the aisle who want to get to yes. And they've been working with our bill, where we got 78 Democrats to support our bill exactly a year ago. We're coming to New York next week to have a field hearing led by Brian Stile, our subcommittee chair on digital assets, to highlight why this is so important to have a market framework. We've got to get beyond concerns that some have about ethics. And I would summarize it like this, Maria. If we passed the Clarity Act last summer, many of the things that people were expressing concern about, meme coin issuance, co-investment, use of exchange, investing in exchanges, all that would be under a market framework of regulation with clarity, no pun intended. And that would provide a lot of transparency to people that are concerned about the Trump family's investments. We've got to look at the big picture here, and we've got to get this market framework in place to be combined with the Genius Act, which is the stablecoin legislation that's already been enacted into law. You can't have a functioning, innovative marketplace and grow this economy on blockchain and use digital assets and tokenization if you don't have both. Stablecoin is like a cell phone not connected to a cell phone network, and the market framework that Mike Seelig talked about is, in fact, that network that we need.
So before I move on to the Housing Act, do you expect that the Senate feels that way, the way you do, and will get this on the floor and pass the Clarity Act soon? You think it'll happen this summer?
I've encouraged Senate leadership to put it on the floor. I think if you schedule a floor date here in the month of July, that will cause these final meetings, these final discussions to take place. You've got to have a deadline in Congress to get people to move and find consensus.
Yeah, let me get your take on the 21st Century Road housing. It passed overwhelmingly, bipartisan support. You worked hard on that bill. What are your expectations? Does this become law even though the president doesn't sign it?
It certainly can. Article 1, Section 7 says that at midnight tonight, if the president has not signed it into law, nor has he vetoed it, then the 21st Century Road to Housing Act will become law tonight, just past midnight. It's an important bill. It's a bipartisan bill, as you note, but but it unlocks the supply side to lowering the cost for constructing housing, building more housing, and our biggest challenge is housing supply since the end of the global financial crisis. We have just not had different kinds of supply keep up with demand across the country for all kinds of housing units, and that's why this bill is needed and why it's got such strong support in both chambers.
But I don't understand how it becomes law even though the president doesn't sign it, Congressman.
Section 7 of the Constitution says the president has basically there are three choices when Congress passes a bill and sends it to the president's desk. He may sign it, he may veto it, or 10 days after it's transmitted to the White House, it becomes law without his signature.